paintings here in the room. And Boyle actually in 1664 published the book that Nuala Cloud was reading, and this is really brilliant what you made out of that, so that's amazing. So in 1664 Boyle published experiments and considerations touching colour, and this is actually now 355 years after this was published that we're looking at one of the results that we got out of this book, like this exhibition that we have here. Colour was important to understand properties at the time, and even today, it's, for me, when I do research in the lab, I'm a chemist and I look at the colour of something, so it's part of how I classify an object or a material in the lab. Then back in the time, and also still today, we have dyes, we have paints, which is all really important to kind of advance in commerce, and was really important back at the time, and is still the same now. And also, and this is really important for scientists, but also for all of us, Boyle was the first person to actually use an indicator. So he brought the idea of distinguishing between an acid and a base, using color, into what we do today, and we use it in research. I use it in the lab almost every day. What Boyle did, he used the petals of violets, and they turn red when they are in an acidic medium, and they turn blue when they are in a basic medium. So that's something really nice, and that's something that we still use today. So it was not just Boyle's law, but this is the one that's the most known one today. Boyle was also a lot of different things that he was looking into. Boyle also, the book that we are talking about, it was subtitled The Beginnings of an Experimental History of Colors. So again, experiments and colors are all coming together. And it was meant to encourage others to pursue the research on color and light. And it was also had a huge influence on Newton, who then went on to show that the spectrum of light can be recombined into white light again, which was groundbreaking at the time. Boyle also said that color and other properties of materials can be explained by the size, by the shape, and by the motion of what he called corpuscles, which is something similar, very similar to what we call atoms today. And in particular, he also believed that color was actually related to the texture of fabric. So we know today when we have certain fabric, we stroke it in one direction and the other one reverse, and it changes color, it changes the shade of color that it has. I think, because we were talking about schools early on as well, that almost all the pupils, almost everybody in this room knows about Boyle's law, but probably not so many people in Ireland or school pupils or teachers know about that Boyle was an Irish person, that he was an Irish scientist, and that he was born in Westport, just 5 hours drive from here. I wasn't want to say just down the road, but yeah, it's a bit further down. And I think this is also one of the things why this exhibition is so wonderful, because it combines art and science, but also brings a huge part of Irishness of Ireland into it, and it raises awareness of STEAM, of bringing science and art together, and this all with the big context of Ireland.
Thank you, Cordula, and thank you, Nuala, for inviting us up all the way from Waterford to be here. What we have here is amazing. It's more than just the paintings on the walls. What Nuala has presented to us and let us see is also the inspiration and the process that produced this work here. And that inspiration through Boyle, I know if you come back again to visit it, there will be her readings of Boyle's original work will be playing, and so the seeing his work, or relating it back to his work, a scientist 355 years ago writing, and to be able to see that process and how it has produced these wonderful works. Now, we must give tribute, and very often, and particularly with abstract work, there isn't the realization of the work that has gone into developing what is ultimately presented here. That there is so much work behind it, and I think that this is wonderful. What the link in the book and her recordings and that helps us to see that there is an enormous amount of research, experimentation that has gone into this. Now, we must pay tribute to her because reading Robert Boyle in the original is not an easy task. It was before standardized spelling. It was before scientific terms were standardized. It is archaic language. S's are written as F's. So anytime you're reading about sucking up water or anything, it's very dangerous. And finally, boil aboard, a full stop. A sentence can run to several pages, you're getting to an end, a full stop, say, oh great, there's the full stop, and you have to go back and see what the start of the sentence was. But this is largely because Boyle had very poor eyesight, and he dictated his works. He had amanuenses taking notes and dictating his work, so he didn't have to be too precise, and he rushed these things out so that people could share in them. They were intended to be starting points for others to follow. So he rushed these out, there was very little editing, and in fact, reading it, and I was speaking to Nuala earlier, and it does feel like you're spending time in company of Boyle. And some of it is very long-winded, but there are so many gems in it and so many things that us as scientists say, I don't believe Boyle said that before Newton. I don't believe this was, 350 years ago. So it is rewarding, but it's difficult. And so tribute to Nuala for persevering and to see the beauty in the words and in his approach. And the book is full of observations and experiments, and he tries to gather all knowledge known about light and colours in the book, and it's an encouragement to other virtuosi, which basically meant gentlemen with lots of money and time on their hands who wanted to tinker around and engage in the new science. So he wanted people to follow him, and so it's not just experiments, there's observations. He collects, and he's quite naive as well in what he believes that people tell him. But among the things he reports about observations are the phantasms of colours to dreaming men and lunatics. He mentions he investigates the sensation of light upon a blow to the eye. Now, he didn't go as far as Newton did, who, after he read this book, stuck a needle in his eye to see what colours he could see. But Newton was a bit of a fanatic. Boyle, it's just full of childlike curiosity about nature and investigation. And, the links between, we talk about STEAM and STEAM, bringing science and art together, is very often either bad science or bad art in the present day. But to see the real links between science and art, it's about trying to understand the world around us. It's about investigation, it's about observation is the starting point, and all true artists experiment. And we can see that in Nuala's. And I should mention, when we say science and art, in 3 weeks and a day, I think it is, we will be celebrating the 500th anniversary, 500th birthday of Leonardo da Vinci, who was a great scientist as well as a great artist. So science and art can work very well together as long as we understand the different domains they inhabit. We're looking for the same truths in different ways, and we need to respect each other's ways. And when they come together, and when we see, to look for inspiration in a real pure curiosity about nature, which is where the inspiration starts. And Nuala has taken it up with meticulous, methodical experimentation to produce the works we see today. And when we look, it's about colour. So when you're looking at it, look at the relationships, the interplay between the colour, the rhythms, the conflicts, all of that that's going on. And like so many things we see, that Nuala has gone so far in producing these, there's another process that goes on when they come through our senses into our brains and resonate with what memories we have, with what ideas we have, with our experiences, and we all experience something slightly different but the same. So it's a wonderful occasion, and I really commend Nuala, and I hope you enjoy the exhibition and of course the wonderful exhibition upstairs. So thank you very much, Nuala.
Thank you very much, Eoin and Cordula. So,